Present perfect and past simple both refer to past events, but they're used differently. Present perfect connects to the present. Past simple does not. In this lesson, we'll explore the differences between past simple and present perfect and when to use each. Past simple is used with finished time expressions. A finished time expression is a word or phrase that refers to a specific time in the past that has finished. For example, last week, yesterday, last year, 2 days ago, 2024, and so on. Let's look at two examples. They worked hard yesterday. James wrote 2 books last year. Present perfect is used with unfinished time expressions. That is, periods of time that are ongoing, that have not yet finished. For example, this week, today, this year, so far, up to now. It's for this reason that present perfect is used to talk about life experiences. Here's an example. I have not visited Finland. This is an unfinished time expression because what I'm really saying is I have not visited Finland in my life. I could still visit Finland because I'm still alive. It's an unfinished time period. If I were to use past simple, I would need to use a finished time expression. I could say, I did not visit Finland on my last trip. We'll go into some of these in more detail later in the lesson. Another difference. While past simple and present perfect are both used for actions in the past, present perfect is used for past actions that have a connection to the present. To demonstrate this, let's imagine an action from the past. Having lunch. This action began and ended in the past. Lunch is now over. We could use past simple to simply describe the past action. For example, I had lunch. Or perhaps we might say, I had lunch at a lovely cafe. Or, I had lunch with Jane. What difference would it make if we were to write this past simple sentence in present perfect? Let's take a look. I have had lunch. This sentence brings the relevance of the past action into the present. For example, perhaps someone has just asked me if I would like something to eat. The fact that I had lunch is now relevant in the present. I've had lunch, so I'm not hungry. Or, I've had lunch, but I'm still hungry. A third difference. Past simple emphasizes the action, while present perfect emphasizes the result. Here's an example of past simple emphasizing the action. Chris hurt his wrist. Or, Chris hurt his wrist at work. In these sentences, the focus is on the action, Chris injuring his wrist, not the result. Present perfect places emphasis on the result rather than the action itself. In present perfect, this sentence would be, Chris has hurt his wrist. The result of Chris hurting his wrist could be that he can't climb today, or now he's struggling to write. Here we can see that again, present perfect makes a connection to the present. Let's go back to time expressions used with present perfect. We already know unfinished time expressions are used, but let's go through a few more that are commonly used. We'll start with the words never, ever, and before. These words help us talk about life experiences, and so they're often used with present perfect. I have never eaten sushi. Have you ever been skydiving? We have tried that before. Here are 3 more time markers used with present perfect tense. Just, already, and yet. We use just to emphasize an event is very recent. For example, Kate has just taken the dog for a walk. We use already in affirmative sentences to indicate an event happened sooner than expected. For example, I have already washed the dishes. Yet is used in negative sentences and in questions for events expected to happen soon. For example, have you spoken to your boss yet? Now let's look at for and since, 2 adverbs commonly used with present perfect. These adverbs both indicate the length of time something has been happening, but they do it in different ways. For shows a period of time. For a week, for an hour, for a long time. Here's an example. She has worked here for a long time. Since refers to a specific moment in the past. Since 9 o'clock. Since last week. Since January. For example, I have lived there since January. Now it's time to put what you've learned into practice. Choose either past simple or present perfect to finish the following sentences. Pause here while you work. Let's go through the answers. Number 1. We have never been to that restaurant. Present perfect is used because the sentence refers to an experience up to the present time. The focus is on the result, not a specific time in the past. Number 2. She bought a new phone last weekend. Past simple is used because a finished time expression is used. Last weekend. Number 3. He has lived in this town for 5 years. We use present perfect because it emphasizes the duration of the action, living in the town, from the past up to the present. Number 4. I have made a lot of friends since working here. Present perfect is used with since to indicate an action started in the past and continues to the present. Number 5. He was being careless and he lost his license. We use past simple because it indicates the action of losing the license happened at a specific time in the past, following the careless behavior. The focus is on the action, not the result. Number 6. He can't drive. He has lost his license. This time, present perfect is needed because the focus is on the result of losing his license, which is relevant to the present situation. He can't drive now. Now it's your turn to write a couple of sentences. Use past simple to describe something you did last weekend. Use present perfect to talk about a life experience. I'd love to see your work, so be sure to leave your sentences in the comments below. Thanks for following along, and I hope to see you soon for the next lesson. EasyTeaching.net